Hello, hello, hello. Hello, and welcome to our 6 week speaking series, the BDG 2022 virtual conference series. We have been focusing on a few things over the past 6 weeks where we have various speakers. Today we'll be connecting, or for myself, I'm connecting with persons of the CCI industry and for myself specifically, connecting music, athletics, film, and visual artists across the globe. How did we come about the BDG 2022 conference? So each year we aim to highlight the cultural creative industries, discovering emerging talents while establishing business connections and forming new global partnerships. For myself, each year I have toured Africa specifically, where I have actually been able to one on one deal with 4 countries across the globe. The major highlights of the BDG conference in Africa has always been networking session, panel discussions, and a mixture of live concert events that always conclude the daily activities across the continent. The ongoing pandemic itself brought significant loss for countless businesses, and that led to serious disruptions of the cultural creative industries. Hence, I formed the Bridging the Gap 2022 virtual conference series, where I had an opportunity to invite A-list speakers to address the important topic: how has the pandemic affected their businesses of the CCI industries in their regions? And we'll talk about the theme, which is of the past, present, and looking into the future. What are their plans for the future? Also, throughout the various weeks, we have been able to tap in with various speakers in numerous countries across the world. Thus far, we have had speakers from South Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Jamaica, the USA, United Kingdom, Namibia, Canada, and the Reunion Island. As we look forward to bringing our speakers on stage today, of course, it is that we know that our listening audience will have questions. More importantly, I see questions that are already coming in. I would just like to let our viewing audience be aware that each speaker, we will go into the question and answer segment after all speakers have done their presentation and is complete. And we look forward to getting to that segment itself. For the viewing audience, we are currently live on various places. As well, live on internationalstars.com, and we are also live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. So look out for the International Stars tag, and at the top of the page, you will be able to view us in session today. The viewing audience is also welcome to share across their social media platforms using hashtags, of course. You're welcome to use various hashtags, but we do request as well. One of my favorite hashtags, give thanks. As well, we're speaking of the CCI industry, so hashtag CCI, and of course, BDG 2022. Okay? Throughout today's presentation as well, we are going to be having a few advertisements in between. So I am going to jump to one of our advertisements, and I am going to introduce to you our first speaker just after this advertisement. Stay tuned.
Enter now to win. First prize of US $8,000 plus trophy, second prize US $4,000 plus trophy, and third prize US $1,000. Applications are now open and will run until April 30th, 2022. All MP3s are due by May 31st, so go to jiifsc.com to get your application and start the process now. What are you waiting for? Several elimination rounds and public voting will be scheduled leading up to the Grand JIIFSC finals on July 30th, 2022. Keep up with the JIIFSC on Facebook and IG. Born artists or artists of Jamaican descent residing outside of Jamaica? If the answer is yes, then this is for you. USA based Jamaican International Independence Foreign Song Competition is back to once again crown a champion, and this champion can be you. Enter now to win. First prize of US $8,000 plus trophy, second prize US $4,000 plus trophy, and third prize US $1,000. Applications are now open and will run until April 30th, 2022. All MP3s are due by May 31st, so go to jiifsc.com to get your application and start the process now. What are you waiting for? Several elimination rounds and public voting will be scheduled leading up to the Grand JIIFSC finals on July 30th, 2022. Keep up with the JIIFSC on Facebook and IG.
Issues where it says that our screens froze and we were able to um, hear what was going on in our backgrounds. Okay, we currently have.
Folks, are you chemicals in your toothpaste, such as sodium lauryl sulfate, tricolsan, fluoride, sugar, and more? Well, Exodus is the #1 company in herbal tooth powder. It reduces bleeding in the gum 90%, tightens the gum, whitens the teeth, rid the mouth of conquer sores, and restore the gum tissue to health. ExodusGumPowder.com.
So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Um, this today we're going to be speaking with India who is hailing from Richmond, Virginia. Okay, she is a ambassador for the Exodus Herbal Gunpowder. Just a little bit about India before we actually get into her presentation. Um, she has a young star from birth who has proceeded with her budding career as an entrepreneur. She is a model, actress, teacher, and fitness instructor. Preceding her budding career, she has starred in multiple productions in earlier years and was even accepted to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. Her modeling career afforded her the ability to artistic representation with countless Black designers, musicians, creative directors, and celebratory connections and productions. As a model, she became the face of the American Arts and Fashion Week in DC, hosted by the Nigerian Embassy. India currently resides in Las Vegas, where she has starred in numerous videos, including the hit reality series One More Chance. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome today's ambassador for Exodus Herbal Gunpowder, India. Yes. Hi, India. How are you?
Hello, Empress Rose. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. First, foremost, I want to big up you this morning. Thank you so much for allowing us to come on the platform and talk to you this morning. So, I just want to get right into it. Um, for over 2 decades, Remedy for the Soul's core values have been sustainability, dependability, and restorative results. Thus, Remedy for the Soul is the #1 company in herbal tooth powder. Althea Taylor, the pioneer and CEO at the time, had a bleeding gum issue, like most of us do. And to no avail, the dentist could not remedy her situation. So the thought came to her mind, why don't you go back to your mother nature, and see what she has to offer? Her journey through research began, and she decided to learn about herbs and its medicinal benefits. Althea completed her study and received a certificate as a botanical herbalist, and thus Remedy for the Soul was born. Remedy for the Soul's products are for personal body care and are in its purest form. We provide the highest quality of herbs that nature has to offer, which contain no chemicals, additives, preservatives, or artificial coloring. In fact, in 1 week, you will see great results. We provide a holistic line of products which all complement each other with regular use, with a simple lifestyle. We are confident that you will experience instantaneous results. So, hello, can you guys hear me still? Instantaneous results. So, Remedy for the Soul is known for their herbal tooth
Cool
products
Jams Radio. Check me out every Monday night.
and their Jamaican My Hair Grow products that grow back the hair in 10 days.
Of
Exodus Herbal
chemicals,
Gunpowder
harmful
is the #1 bestseller. This revolutionary herbal gunpowder and tooth powder is especially formulated to reduce bleeding in the gum tissue 90%. It removes harmful acids and plaque that weaken the integrity of the gums and the teeth enamel. It tightens the gum, whitens the teeth, rids the mouth of canker sores, freshens the breath, and restores the gum tissue to health. Then we also have Jamaican My Hair growth products. Jamaican My Hair Grow herbs is 100% pure raw herbs, especially blended and formulated to work outside and inside to stop the action of DHT hair loss and help to regrow hair at the cellular level. Then we have our Jamaican My Hair Grow, the Wonder Oil. It's effective for all hair types, men and women. This powerful formulation of Jamaican My Hair Grow herbs and oil contains no chemicals, additives, preservatives, or artificial coloring. You see results in as little as 10 days, and you grow back your healthy hair like you always deserved and had when you were a child. So, remedy for this all in the pandemic. You know, the CDC Center for Disease Control tried to create a safer and healthier world for people. 1.5 people were newly diagnosed with diabetes in the United States, and numbers continue to increase each year. About 66% of young adults have periodontal disease. It's a disease of the mouth. You know, they're either suffering from cavities, cold sores, canker sores inside of their mouth, and things like that, bad bleeding gums. 50% of children have this periodontal disease. Periodontal disease is the most common cause of tooth loss in adults. Diabetes increase the risk of periodontal mouth infections and decrease um, blood glucose control. It is a link between cardiovascular disease, which includes heart attack and stroke. Some of the signs and symptoms of periodontal infection and serious health problems are bad breath, bad taste, loss of teeth. Indication is an indication of serious health issues. You know, dental hygiene is very important, and this is where Remedy for the Soul comes in. We not only sell products to our clients, we educate as well with our lifestyle program. Our clients get a one-on-one consultation when persons sign up for our lifestyle program. Remedy for the Soul had a very hard hit. While mom and pop might not always be in focus, collectively small businesses are powerful and influential piece of the economy. In fact, 99.8% of all businesses in the US are small businesses, collectively employing almost half, 47.2 of the nation's private workforce. Unfortunately, Remedy for the Soul and many small businesses during the pandemic either swiftly pivoted to survive or struggle to stay afloat. We are soliciting your donation to keep families working to provide for their children and to continue to educate our community on the importance of health personal hygiene, and body care. Future. For the future, we've just added a new member to our product line, you guys, and it is a game changer. We have added the Exodus liquid toothspray for on the go. Busy? Always on the go? Exodus liquid tooth spray fits in your purse, pocket, or pouch at work, school, or play, and it's easy to conceal. The liquid tincture spray is ideal for persons with braces, removes harmful bacteria and plaque. Exodus tincture tooth spray penetrates in between the teeth and along the gum line for a deep cleaning and hard to reach places. It reduces bleeding in the gums tissue by 90%, tightens the gum, rids the mouth of canker sores, and restores the gum tissue to health. ExodusGunpowder.com. Please check out our website. Exodus, EXODUS, gum powder, GUMPOWDER.com, or remedyforthesoul.com.
Hi, India. Can you hear me?
Yes, could you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much. I'm going to, so we have a few questions, but I am going to save them until the end. And if you're not on, because I know that you're currently driving, um, then I will just text it to you and I will make all the answers to the persons who are asking questions about the Exodus herbal gunpowder. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Empress Rose. You are amazing. And I hope this program keeps going and going and going.
I am looking forward to as well. So we'll keep you posted. I am going to jump to your commercial and we will be right back with our next speaker. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again, India.
Folks, are you tired of chemicals? Harmful chemicals in your toothpaste, such as sodium lauryl sulfate, tricolsin, fluoride, sugar, and more? Well, Exodus is the #1 company in herbal tooth powder. It reduces bleeding in the gum 90%, tightens the gum, whitens the teeth, rid the mouth of conquer sores, and restore the gum tissue to health. ExodusGumPowder.com.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, you just had an opportunity to hear from India, who is an ambassador for Exodus Herbal Gunpowder. We are going to take a short commercial break and we'll be right back with our next speaker. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And in continuation, we will continue with today's speakers. Next up, we have Carrie Mullings. For persons who are unaware of who Carrie Mullings is, she is the queen of Canadian reggae. Yes, Carrie Mullins has made strides and leaps and bounds in various provinces throughout the Canadian um, country. Representing one's culture is not always an easy task, but community leader Carrie Mullins has taken the bull by its horns and have contributed greatly to reggae and displays in Canada. So, just who is Kelly Mullins? She is the eldest daughter of the late Carl Winston Mullings, widely recognized as the forefather of Canada's reggae scene. She is also the older sister of multi award winning singer, the talented Tanya Mullings. Throughout Carrie Mullings' career, her ambitious accomplishments have afforded her the ability to propel Canadian reggae further into the forefront, and that has earned her worldwide recognition and reception. For the past 20 years, she has maintained Rebel Vibes on Vibe 105 FM, where she has empowered the community by sharing and uplifting individuals through the airwaves. She can be heard every Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where she features some of the most multi talented and focused Canadian reggae artists, alongside some of the as well fabulous food and restaurants across Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Carrie Mullins. Hi, Carrie, how are you?
I'm very well, Dr. Rose, Empress Rose. I'm just going to cut it right to what is really nice, Empress Rose.
Yes,
Good day, good morning, good evening to everyone
greeting.
watching.
Yes.
I'd like to start with an acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations and is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississauga of the Credit. We also acknowledge all treaty peoples, including all settlers, migrants, and those of us who came here involuntarily, particularly as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. We also pay tribute to our ancestors of African origin and descent. This personal land acknowledgement is a small act of reconciliation, honoring the land and indigenous heritage which dates back over 10,000 years. I'd like everyone to learn that if you ever plan to come to Canada, it's a great way for any artist to enter a stage and greet the peoples of Canada. AsheCommunityFoundation.com is where I just took that from. And I want to say it's a great honor. Thank you very much, Dr. Rose, for allowing the time to be here and to share how affecting the CCI has really affected myself and affected Canada and affected our music industry in a whole. For myself, programming an all Canadian reggae show and running a platform that tours independent artists across Canada. And we've already had the privilege of touring Jamaica. We really felt a hit when it came to being able to share the musical vibration that we all create for healing. It's been a tough time, and I know that everyone is still going through the stages of these times, but we do hope as everything opens up, everyone can get together and we can celebrate again musically. And we have to give thanks during this time for digital platforms like this, what Intl Starz is providing right now, for us to be able to share our voices, and that we have all maintained exactly what our purpose is here, which is sharing and imparting knowledge on one another and being able to connect virtually to do that. We've had many restrictions in Canada, I have to say, and Canada being such a multicultural landscape, every province was affected in a different way. I know that's kind of hard to believe because it's usually a country is affected in one way, but Canada has different restrictions over the time of COVID. Not only did it affect the music scene and performance, it affected many artists from being able to record music and put out vibrations that could lend in healing the world right now. And I think I touch on that point because that is a priority for all of us to do, is in everything that is happening, give thanks and continue to heal, continue to share, and continue to impart knowledge and help one another, just as Dr. Rose is doing here. The National Concert and COVID-19 Regulations Guide has published CanadianLiveMusic.ca. I'd like to extend this as a resource to everyone who is viewing, because wanting to come to Canada is absolutely wonderful, and we are excited for everyone to get back to traveling freely and being able to tour, and the economy raising again to facilitate those touring activities. Some artists are making moves because of the virtual shift, and other artists do need to travel the road, from busking on the corner of Queen and Spadina in Toronto, which is a very popular spot, to being export ready to travel and touch stages around the world, like Rebel Salute, like Rototom Splash. These are the objectives of all our recording reggae artists worldwide, not just Canada alone. So where are you going to come first? Everyone talks about coming to Toronto, coming to Montreal. So I'll share with you, in this time right now, and we have to say, give thanks again very much for the clearance. But now in Ontario, we are freed up to some degree. Mandates have been lifted, performances are taking place, and people are starting to gather again. As for the website, you'll see that there still are some restrictions for Ontario, and that's where I personally reside. As much as there's no limit to indoor gatherings and no limit to outdoor gatherings like festivals, that's wonderful. But the restriction that is in place is you need to be seated at concerts, venues, theaters, and cinemas. That is the request. Removing dancing. So no dancing. So I speak today with everyone coming from a point of view of what the essence of music is, not only to us, those who are living now, but to our ancestors and to all the peoples before us, those in the present and those that will come in the future, which are our children. We understand how much music heals, and we see that there's quite a balance between the lack of gathering has led to much mental health issues that needs to be addressed, and that's where we all need to step into the role of what we know to be right. Reach out. We are here to be our brother's keepers, our sister's sister and friend, and ensure your neighbor is well during these times. When you remove all of these things and opportunities for gatherings and performance, you also remove the fellowship. So while that has taken place during the time of COVID, I'm very, very pleased to say it did not stop many of us, many of our creators here in Canada, and those wanting to build an economy greater than what currently is. We have found ways to operate. Hosting on one of Canada's largest free festivals is the Taste of the Caribbean. It's a 4-day outdoor free festival that I've had the honor of hosting for many years and booking performing artists for. That had to stop because of COVID. But taking the virtual shift and taking the bulls by the horn, as you said, Dr. Rose, we found a way, and the team with TOTC said it's time to move with the shift and deliver virtually. So I'm really happy to say, if you go on totc.ca or you go on rebelvibes.ca, you will be able to view the upcoming season 2. We've already moved our production team from Ontario and filmed wonderful season 1, which is available on the site, and season 2 is also ready, and that is in Quebec. Once we completed Quebec, we're making plans to move province to province now, highlighting the great talent that we have in Canada, finding a way to go around the current restrictions and be able to still deliver that healing vibration that we know we all thrive off of for much of our excellence and energy source. As we moved into Quebec, there were heavy restrictions. I'm sharing with you the journey so you understand that firsthand the experience is truly real. It's almost like reliving the journey that my father was on, which is a piece of history that's paramount for me to share with everyone. Carl Winston Mullings migrated from Jamaica with really the first performing band, the Sheiks, back in the early 60s, and came through the States and performed in Mexico, heading through, celebrating a 30 stop, I believe it was 30 in total, tour after winning a festival competition in Jamaica, that they were in that competition with Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. So when they did travel, all through that time, there were many restrictions upon us too. The restriction of separate water fountains. You could only eat in places where you were culturally accepted. Being diplomatic and saying that that was a rough time, I currently see those times repeating themselves, but delivering the messages to us all in a different way. So I add to that to say, never give up. Keep moving along your journey. And as my father did, and eventually decided to cross the border and come into Canada, the first performance that the Sheiks had, major paid performance, was opening up for Percy Sledge in Montreal. So it gave me such an honor to be in Quebec, where my father had taken the journey initially, and be able to see the wonderful landscape that Quebec has to offer and the vibrant music scene. See, that's the beauty of Canada. From stop to stop, province to province, the experience is completely different. Everything looks different. The roads, the houses, the streets. It's like going to different countries and having the largest, as I would say, multicultural group of people with ethnicities that sometimes wouldn't even live in this climate due to it being so cold during some of the months, but also feel the freedom that they received in coming here, leaving all of what they had behind. We have multiple communities that give back to cultures in the diaspora in Canada that have come from all parts of the world. So as we celebrate reggae, and as we celebrate through the Taste of the Caribbean, Stages Canada, Rebel Vibes, we're glad to partner up and work very diligently on bringing more, curating more content. I'll share with you, then we couldn't even go into a store without masks, without proving our vaccination for those who are vaccinated, or even for those who were unvaccinated that wanted to use a bathroom. The store owner could tell you no, and you would have to go somewhere else. So reliving the experience again, circle of life. What goes around definitely does come around again. Currently, now, you cannot dance, I'm sorry, at the moment until there is further approval when it comes to certain islands. And that is what we talk about as, for myself, presenting to you the effects on the CCI. It has affected us in the frame of fellowship, love, sharing, celebration. We all know that words, sound, and power, and some of the greatest healing energies ever received from music has been delivered from the creative themselves through song, through drumming, through live instrumentation. So we're very anxious. I'm extremely anxious to get back into that full force. Right now, there is still certain places that require you to be vaccinated to enter, that do require you to have proof of that to come into the concert. So we're definitely moving into a different world. Indoor venues capacities are growing, and we see that everything is opening up slowly. So I pause now to say we're really excited because travel is going to change. Restrictions have been lifted in many areas, and we in Canada are getting prepared for many of the artists that are wanting to come here and perform and seek to connect closer with all of the friends, supporters, and fans that have come together to build a whole new family virtually. I think this time we need to celebrate that the positive effects that are had on our industry come from that virtual connection. Without it, I feel things would be much, much worse. And I'm sure you can agree with that, Dr. Rose, because to not be able to have that connection is almost like not being able to hug a loved one. It doesn't feel good. And I'm a hugger, so anyone who knows me, when they meet me and they greet me, if my energy feels you, you're getting a huge hug. And I feel that these are the times that we must reach out. Of course, we also see that there's the need for everyone to be cautious where they travel, where they go, what they're doing, and to be mindful. Is this growing the economy of music? Is this putting us back on the map in a very strong way? Canada's always had a concern with artists developing to a level of export readiness, traveling around the world to be able, but Canada is very open arms and welcoming to any artist anywhere in the world to come here. So we seek that camaraderie, we seek that connection, we seek to bridge the gap. And that's why I'm here at this moment today, is to outreach to many and say, let us come together and hold hands again and look at how we can very, very, very quickly strengthen the economy, be able to rise above the hit that has affected the CCI, the financial hit. Let's continue to raise up one another in the respect of sharing music, live music anywhere in the world that is happening. I hope that all in support of that live music would let others know about it. Please take as many videos as possible, friends, of every part of the world and share them virtually. Let us do our role in really raising the vibration. And I want to say that it's super exciting when you can see something positive in a time that it's been so hard. And it's like receiving a clean slate to recreate, reinvigorate, restart. And they say reset, but reset in a way of love. Deep rooted, unconditional love. This is the time that we move forward and know that as we are building back the CCI and we are building more for everyone, we connect. We connect in a way that benefits our economy. We connect in a way that highlight our youth and children moving forward, because we do see that the age range in performing artists is definitely getting younger. And I mentioned that to share in celebration with everyone that Canada has made history with the very first youth to be nominated for a Juno Award. I want to congratulate Cairo McLean, 13-year-old reggae artist who has been nominated for Reggae Recording of the Year based off of the strengths of his message, the production quality of his music, and the love, unconditional love of his team. Thanks to the supporters, the fans, and everyone that watches him everywhere he goes virtually and will sneak in, grab the mic, perform, and always delivers a great, strong message. So I say all that to say, I do hope everybody continues to watch and will join us as season 2 releases, and you will see how beautiful, beautiful Montreal is, Quebec is, and you will get sneak peeks of Juno Award winning artist Mikey Dangerous's brand new music video, along with the announcement of Stages Canada returning and the collaboration between Taste of the Caribbean and Stages Canada and Rebel Vibes. And it gives me, again, great pleasure to represent Canada and even receive such a strong nickname as Moma Canada. I thank Jamaica for that also. I don't know what else to say, because I'm overjoyed in seeing the directions we can move in, overjoyed in seeing the fellowships and stronger connections made as we bridge the gap, because there is a very strong gap that needs to be bridged. We all must work closer together while we celebrate the successes of others rising up. We also see that we have much more work to do in reggae, and we can do it easily. We'll do it all together, and we'll do it in the way that we need to do it, getting back to the root and essence of what reggae music is, which is a healing vibration, and it's out there. Creatives, we all have the ability to make a change and make a very strong presence within our reggae community, that we are healers and we are not just a underground genre or a not so well received mainstream genre of music, and still have more community support on radio than we do the mainstream. We see the gateways opening, and we see the virtual reality coming to light, that there are really no restrictions on us until we restrict ourselves. The key is to honor the right vibration, to follow the right vibration, and to be a part of the right message. Um, all during this pandemic time, I've I've shared with artists, and I've shared with friends, and I've shared with colleagues, and I share with everyone on the internet right now with internationalstars.com, is that it begins within all of us. It really does. So we can celebrate together, we can gather together, and if you're not able yet to travel to Canada, we will do our part here, Taste of the Caribbean, Stages Canada, to enhance domestic tourism and deliver to you, province to province, what is wonderful about Canada as we grow reggae in this landscape and we seek more support from Jamaica, from Africa, from Asia, from, let's say, all over the world, for us to come together and do what's right and lend our voices for that change. Observe, just don't absorb, like don't absorb it, everybody. Observe and find out where you fit in the gap so the bridge can be extended. Um, as you see, it says Carrie Mullings at MoMA Canada. That's where you can find me, totc.ca. And anyone who wants to get prepared for the opening of our festival season and wants to participate and perform, you can send me an email, Carrie, Carrie, at totc.ca. And while you're on the TOTC site, I ask all festival organizers to look at our roster there under talent and listen to their vibration. And let us come back together very quickly, face to face, and be able to deliver what we all love so much, which is great reggae music and good vibrations. And for artists who want to join a wonderful movement that has birthed from Canada, please go on causewecan.ca. And Empress Rose, thank you very much, my sis. It's wonderful, these series, the last 6, well, this is the 6th, but the past weeks, or shall I say, the past strongs that you have delivered have really opened up everyone to see what is great in this world, and what we all have is extremely valuable and very worthy. So let us celebrate it. Let us really work hard on growing more of the business behind it, so that this way we all do our part and leave that generational wealth that's needed. Because as we see in this time, it's really not about how much money you have to leave. It's about how much you have built to leave behind. So I celebrate everyone, and I thank you again very, very much for this platform. And that's it. Good day. I
Hi,
think
Carrie.
it's still, hi.
Hi. As we look towards you're leaving, you do have an artist that I would like to highlight as well. Do you want to set up the introduction?
I would love to. I'd like very much to. In celebration of this year's 5 Juno nominees, I want to say congratulations to our 5-star general, Esco Levi, for his nomination. Congratulations to Blessed for his, and to Kirk Diamond. Mentioning earlier Cairo McLean, that's 4 nominees, but it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Josemar, who is celebrating his very first Juno nomination, reggae recording for the year. And this young man has such a strong message to share. His energy is vibrant, and I look forward to seeing him on stages worldwide, and for everyone who comes to Canada for wonderful reggae music to witness his performance live with a live band. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Josemar.
Hello and good morning. My name is Azamar. I am here to represent Toronto, Canada. Though I was born in Jamaica, I am here to bridge the gap between both cultures. I just want to thank the International Stars for allowing me this opportunity to be on this platform today. I recently got nominated for a Juno Award in the category of Reggae Recording of the Year. A great honor. But that song came with a message. And as we're here talking about affecting the cultural creative industry, I'd like to give that message to you. Thank you for your listening ear, and thank you again for the opportunity. Hey, na 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 na, hey, ooh, oh, it's a Zemar. No matter what you're going through, rise above. Don't let it get to you. Don't give up. No matter make it get to you. Don't give up. Eh. Don't let it get you down. Just rock and go through. No matter make it get you down. Rock and go through. Eh. Standing by the window, hands at your kimbo. Where you a go get it from? The youths them want Milo, past due hydro. Yesterday you just lost your job. Say credit has been calling from a morning. When you a go pay them back? Now the key is gone on the bus, and you forgot them lunch back. So don't let it get to you. Don't give up. Don't let it get you down. Don't give up. Eh. Nobody make it get to you. Rock and go through. Don't let it get you down. Rock and go through. Eh. So, thank you again for your listening ear. Thank you, International Stars, for the opportunity. If you want to find out more about me, visit rebelvibes.ca or follow me on Instagram, ITSJOSEMAR. Salute. Have a blessed day.
Carrie, I thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And to all of the former guest speakers who have shared their voice on effecting the CCI. I am very honored to share the stage with everyone and be able to speak on behalf of Canada. And I look forward to us all collaborating and rebuilding. Whatever has affected us, we can grow it and we can make things greater and better and bigger and more vibrant than they were. So I look forward to the future. Please do follow internationalstars.com. And Dr. Rose, thank you again, my sis.
I thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming through. Of course, it is that we have questions from our audience, but you're going to stick around for the Q&A, and we welcome you back then. Okay? We're going to jump. Thank you so much. We're going to jump to a commercial, and we'll be right back with our next speaker.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I do the top 10 reggae count-off. Tell a friend to tell a friend for the best in music, unbiased music. It's all about fun. It's all about info. Hi, I'm Chris Rich for Cool Jams Radio. Check me out every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I do the Top 10 Reggae Count-Off. Tell a friend to tell a friend for the best in music, unbiased music. It's all about fun. It's all about infotainment. Full enjoyment. Cool Jams Radio every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, you could check us out at www.facebook.com/Cool Jams Radio 103. 24/7, 48/14. Cool Jams Radio.
All Chris do is just play, play, play. Good music for the people. Enough respect. Cool Jams Radio, of course. Chris Rich, you know. Play on, play on.
As always, we aim to please. We do not disappoint. And so we thank Kudish for coming through with that advertisement as well. Throughout the production, we're going to be playing a few other ads as well. I would like to introduce you to our next speaker, Jerome Hamilton. For persons who do not know who Jerome Hamilton is, and I know there are lots of persons that actually listening, and some persons have actually texted me questions for Jerome, and I'm saying, can you even allow him to speak first? But it's okay. Jerome Hamilton is the managing director of Headline Entertainment in Jamaica, and he and his business partner formed this booking agency back in 1997 after being in the entertainment industry for just over 10 years. Hamilton, Clarendon born, commenced business while as a student at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus, where he helped to organize events. He also worked on major shows such as the legendary Reggae Sunsplash alongside his mentor, Ronnie Burke. And so Headline Entertainment has become the Caribbean's leading agency of its kind, working with artists from Jamaica, the Caribbean, South America, Europe, and Japan. It has expanded its offering to include project management, public relations, entertainment, consultancy, and tour logistics management. Of course, Hamilton and his company serves some of the major clients directly out of Jamaica, names such as Sean Paul, the Marley Brothers, Chronics, and Coffee. The clientele just not only includes artists, but it also expands to, of course, disc jockeys, MCs, hosts, and comedians as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for, and I welcome Jerome Hamilton to the stage. Hi, Jerome. How are you?
Greetings and salutations, Dr. Empress Rose. Thank you very much for welcoming me. I must first commend you and the International Stars team for putting together this wonderful opportunity for information to be shared. One of the weaknesses we have within the creative and cultural industries is the willingness and the opportunities to share information and to hear and learn from each other. So I want to commend you and your team very much for doing this. I think this is a very great venture and it's great to be a part of it. I want to say greetings and salutations to India and my dear friend Carrie for the wonderful presentation so far and what I've learned from India with the product and Carrie's perception of the business and especially the scenario in Canada brings a lot of thought to mind, and we appreciate that contribution. I look forward to hear from my colleague Bosco out of Ghana, and of course my friend from long time, Yasus Afari, college days. I look forward to hearing from him as well. I want to say greetings and salutations to everyone who has taken time out of their busy lives to spend some time with us here this morning. And I'm hoping the experience will be beneficial to you as it has been to me so far. Quickly, we looking at affecting the CCI, a big part of an industry which I call an equal opportunity employer, especially from persons of our hue that don't have the economical and background to take us. We have to create opportunities, and the creative and cultural industry has given this opportunity to many persons, and that's one of the things I really commend us for. And I like when people come into this industry, because I tell them you'll never know how far it can take you. So that's a wonderful thing. I work out of Jamaica, and I predominantly represent reggae artists, some other Caribbean music artists, but the brunt of what we do is reggae artists. I wanted to be part of this industry, looking quickly at the past, because I thought this was an industry that would give me an opportunity to experience a part of Jamaica that we could have an impact on, and it has worked well for me. And I have gone on. Primarily, my main role is a booking agent, where I secure engagement and opportunities on behalf of the talent that I represent. And we represent a very range of talent um, for Jamaican music. And the beautiful thing, as most of you might be aware here, is the strength of Jamaican music. Jamaican music has had the opportunity to transcend the size of our island, I would say, led not first by Bob, but most prominently by Bob Marley, but starting in the 60s, predominantly, when sound systems came about and was playing North American music, and then we started creating our music, and then we started to export to the diaspora, where Jamaican Caribbean people were, and one thing grew to another, and then the music evolved, and then before many people knew it, here was this big music out of Jamaica, and it created a whole entire opportunity for persons who would have never had the opportunity to experience other cultures, to gain certain income, to through the music, through their talent, get there. And Jamaica, I think, was a leader in that. Of course, Jamaica was supported by other things. You know, Jamaica was also the country that produced the first African leader in Marcus Garvey, and I speak of that because it also impacted the creation of Rastafari, which was what a religion, which is another important that came out of Jamaica, which is tied into Marcus Garvey, and in turn is tied into reggae music. And those three components are important. And the fourth component, as insignificant as some might seem, is marijuana, because Jamaica's use, glorification, and promotion of marijuana also tied. So to me, those four things are tied together implicitly: Marcus Garvey, reggae music, Rastafari, and marijuana, aka ganja. And a lot of that have tied together to take the music to the world and where it is. Let us look quickly at the immediate past. Jamaica had I would say, safely 50 or so artists that have performed in 10 or more countries consistently over the last 10 years. And the onset of a pandemic changed that. And this is an industry that has lots of offsprings, apart from the entertainers themselves, the persons they employ in terms of musicians, engineers, stagehand managers, in terms of the wider team they have, such as their publicists, their record company. So the wider things it creates, such as events that people earn from events, whether it's from food, whether it's from merchandise, whether it's from transportation, whether it's from security, um, whether it, yeah, and you find what happened with a pandemic, that all of this came to a halt. It came to a halt not just in Jamaica, but in the wider Caribbean, and across the world. Our music, where we as an artist, reggae artist, predominantly earn from, first and foremost, if you're Jamaican, is going to be your first market is going to be the Caribbean. It's the markets where you have the biggest per capita of support for the music. Outside of that, you stretch into Central America and then into the North American markets, where there's a strong Caribbean a lot of industries were able to go ahead, except entertainment. And what has happened over that period, there was a migration to a few events online, but anybody who's been involved knows that an online event is not a very profitable enterprise. Um, it is attractive but not profitable, and that has stemmed the music a lot. It has stemmed it, as in we didn't have the markets anymore, but a lot of people who were in the business over a long time, a lot of them morphed into other business and might never come back into entertainment. A lot of them had so much losses, they had to move away from the business. I know some persons who have had venues who have turned them into different things because nobody was sure where we're going, and at this point, as attractive as things are, we're still not sure where we'll go. So it has suffered tremendously. Locally, in Jamaica, we're used to having a plethora of events, a lot of dances, concerts, sponsors having events with entertainment. Entertainment is a big part of life in Jamaica. You virtually don't have anything without music being played, and that also had to be shut down. In fact, up until last week, Saturday, Jamaica was in some form of curfew, whether it was starting at as early sometimes at 3 p.m. at the worst, 3 p.m. in the worst days. Some days we had lockdown, but in the last 6 months, I think we're around 8, 9 o'clock. But now Jamaica's finally been open 1 week. Coffee say, where would you go? Well, Jamaicans have been going out a lot for the week, but it has shut down the industry locally, and some people are struggling, will struggle to recover. But so many people have been waiting. It's like seeds in a desert, and when the water comes, everything start growing. So we're hoping that what happens now will allow the industry to return to, I wouldn't say the same degrees that it was, but to get itself in a position where it can survive. What we see happening outside in the wider world, we see events are opening up, but where does it leave our music? Leave our music facing some challenges to proceed, because some things have changed significantly in the short term. One of the things that we are facing is the issue of a vaccination. Vaccination is was a very rigid requirement up to 2 3 months ago. It has been relaxed in some cases, but in a lot of places it won't go away. In a lot of cases, even if it goes away in a open space, it will be required in closed spaces. So going forward, Jamaican reggae events are going to be impacted by vaccination, lack thereof. Um, and I would like to pause to say one other thing about our music is, as popular as it is in Jamaica, we know that is the home of the music. Any successful reggae artist makes at least 90% of his income outside of Jamaica. Because as beautiful as it is there, it's not a place where there are going to be a lot of major events for them. So traveling is a big and important part of our industry. Another way we see it's going to affect us is the cost for doing dates. The cost for doing dates have increased a number of ways. It has been increased because of the pandemic. There's been a big rise in inflation that will seem to be continuing for a while, and we see it in first world countries like US, Canada, across Europe. Countries normally don't have 8 9% inflation rate, are struggling with it and not able to contain it, and supply chains are being impacted. We see it in the cost of fuel, and it is also now compounded by a war situation that is front and center in our lives, and is again affecting costs. So one of the challenges we find is that the cost for doing event has gone up. For event to be had, a promoter has to put in more staff now to keep it clean. Sanitations are going to be required in certain cases. Full capacity is not allowed. You heard Carrie talk about it in Canada. We have it here. Jamaica's rule, even though we have no curfew, a venue capacity cannot exceed 70%. So as a promoter, you're going to be faced with that challenge, and of course, it's going to impact how and when you use artists. Another thing that promoters are facing, which is not considered sometimes, is the uncertainty in the market. You had persons who would have gone out before to, all the events that's happening in Canada, all the shows, but there are persons, regardless of how things are being relaxed, that have concerns about how safe it is to go out, how comfortable am I going into a certain space. So apart from the limitation that is legally in most markets, you face the added limitation of persons not sure that they want to go into that space. Another challenge I think we do have is that a lot more persons are having online events, and what these online events does, um, it does two things for me. It allows you sometimes to see an artist too much. Into this space. I think I'm back now. So, continuing from where I left off, I don't know where you missed. How does the artist impact this? One of the challenges he's going to have to face is how does he price himself? And we find ourselves in a difficult position here because what I have noticed within my industry, at least in the reggae space, is that artists are charging more than they were charging 2 years ago, because they might think they're much more popular now than they were then, or they think there are different things that come to the fore. But the challenge is that we face the other problem the promoter have, where it's going to cost him more. All the points raised earlier, he can have less persons, less people come out. So in some cases, I really do think the artist should be looking at a lower price. One, to make it viable for promoters to have event and for events to go ahead and for the business to survive. But I would say so far in what I've been seeing, that is not transcended across the market. One of the other areas I think artists will have to focus on strongly is other sources of income. There's income to be gained when your content is shown online. Oh, no, it takes a lot of views to earn income from it. But if you follow what's happening in the social space, there are a lot of influencers, there are a lot of bloggers that make their living online. So there is income online. There's ways to do it. There's formats to get it done properly that artists need to focus on. I think in that space as well, I think it's called metadata. A lot of persons metadata is not correct, and it's amazing how much income is out there in that space. But because I found over the years that talent can see and feel it tangible. I go on stage, I perform for half an hour, I get paid a certain fee. It's clear and easy for me to understand. But when you get into the space of it's going to be played in 20 different locations today, and it's going to be played a number of times, where's that earning coming from? How is calculated? I find that artists pays not a little attention to it because it's a bit more intangible and they can't. But there's a lot of persons who earn in that space, and the reggae artists are not one of those that are exploiting it very well. And I think it's one category that they need to get themselves into. There's the issue of online presence in terms of having channels of their own, whether it is real life, where people see their life experience, or whether it's a show where they share information, interview others, etc. That's one area we see some people doing and working and doing well in that market. That's something we think they need to look at. Another thing that is highly misused or underused by reggae artists is the area of merchandise. Merchandise is such a big part of earnings that in our market has not been used. There are very few artists that either A, take merchandise on the road, or B, get it from others on the road. And we find that is one area that is underutilized and it's going to help to carry them forward. There's a lot of us to speak, and a couple more points I would then raise before going forward. Um, I'm great to see earlier when Dr. Rose mentioned the different countries that had speakers earlier. And I'm very impressed and heartened to know that she has connections within all these countries. But we don't create connections ourselves between these markets. Jamaican artists have been going to Africa consistently and on an increased basis since mid 2003-4 when Sean Paul's success took him to the continent, and after him, dancehall music became very popular there. But there's still so very little connect between the two cultures musically of working together. There are exceptions, and Dr. Rose is one of them, but we need to make it much more the norm than the exceptions. We see the rise of victims of technology, all beyond our control. I don't know what the last thing is, but in two quick points to close, I was saying that we don't connect enough, and we have to find a better way to connect. The collaboration between reggae and Afrobeat could help both genres, and I'm hoping that come together. Another challenge I think we have within the industry is that we don't take out enough time to try and educate ourselves outside of our life experiences, outside of what we learn on the job. I don't think enough time is spent in learning, and there's so many courses available online that deal with so many aspects of the music and entertainment industry. There's so many books online, there's so many articles online that can teach us and prepare us. So when we're working with talent that break into the international spaces, we're not following all the time, but we're leading. When we get signed to a record company and the management send over the contracts to us, we'll understand a lot of the things to look for, to expect, and when we read it, what we are to look out for and to make changes. When we get into a deal with a publisher, we understand the different kind of royalties and what are splits and the relevant markets that our music impact on. I think we spend so little time doing it that, and so what happened that other persons get themselves in this space and do it, and they again, a lot of times they shouldn't be, but they're doing it because we have not taken the time to do so. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to questions later on. Take care.
Hi, Jerome, and thanks for all that input. We appreciate you wholeheartedly. Of course, we have a few connections back and forth because of we're doing, the digital space gives you that perspective. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back as with our next speaker or next performer, and I'm going to come back later today where we'll have questions from our audience. I say later today, but that's actually in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm going to jump to a commercial and I'll be right back. Thanks, Jerome.
My pleasure.
Cool Jams Radio. Check me out every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I do the Top 10 Reggae Count-Off. Tell a friend to tell a friend for the best in music, unbiased music. It's all about fun. It's all about infotainment. Full enjoyment. Cool Jams Radio every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, you could check us out at www.facebook.com/Cool Jams Radio. Radio 103. 24/7, 4814. Cool Jams Radio.
All Chris do is just play, play, play. Good music for the people. Enough respect. Cool Jams Radio, of course. Chris Rich, you know. Play on, play on.
We are. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're having some issues with our connections today. However, we're going to keep it moving, and we thanks for your patience across the aisle. Next up, we are going to tap in with Yasus Afari. I know that he also was having some connection issues with hearing us, but I trust and hope that he's actually able to hear us now. Let's tap in with him. Hi, Yasus. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And greetings to everyone listening.
Yes, we're having some back and forth connection issues here, but glad that you stuck with us and are able to be live and in person.
Yes, that's a part of the process as well. We have to be innovative, think on our feet, get the job done irrespective.
Okay. So I don't want to only bring you on stage for you to go through, your routine. However, I would like to be able to introduce to our listening audience, because we do know that some of our audience is here for you today, especially when they heard that you would be a part of this production, lending to us your talent. So for us to sit back for a second. So to our listening audience, and for others as well who know about Yasus Afari, for others who don't necessarily know about him but are part of our audience and tuning in. Yasus Afari is a dub poet, an author, a reggae artist, and a philosopher. Of course, he represents the immortal vision of the Asian future, stimulating the revolutionary will to conquer poverty, ignorance, and injustice by releasing positive vibrations in harmony through words, sounds, and power. Deeply rooted in the Rastafarian beliefs, he is one of Jamaica's national treasures. As an international artist, a Rastafari ambassador, he has received numerous awards and accolades and has been featured by many publications, including Billboard magazine. As well, he produces his own music and that of other artists and has produced several groundbreaking, successful stage shows. Born in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, his childhood friend, Garnet Silk, and whom collaborated with Silk on many of his best-selling recordings. As well as performing more traditional readings, he also performs his poetry live with within the popular music scenes. Afari has toured the world, and more specifically through the United States and the Pacific Islands with Black Uhuru. He has also toured with many artists such as Mutabaruka, Maxi Priest, Everton Blender, General Degree, you name it, Tony Rebel. Well, today, Yasus Afari is the head of Edutainment Promotion, organizers with the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission of the Jamaica Poetry Festival, and is also the founder of his poetic Poetry in Motion Showcase, an annual event that celebrates Jamaica's rich poetic heritage. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. It's a book you just read a while ago, but give thanks.
Well,
And we
that
want to
happened.
say, yes, we want to salute you and the other presenters for this remarkable initiative, offering leadership when it is needed, you know. So, you know, in reflecting on the focus on the theme, cultural creative industry, looking at the past, present, and the future, it is very important what we are doing now, especially in light of Jerome's presentation. I'd like to say currently though, we have managed to continue our annual events, namely Poetry in Motion and Jamaica Poetry Festival. For the past 2 years, we have had virtual staging, and we have capitalized on the moment to the extent where we were able to, in partnership with the RGR Gleaner Communication Group, for our 10th anniversary in Jamaica Poetry Festival 2020, we featured poets from Iran, South Korea, Botswana, Netherlands, Canada, England, America, Trinidad, Barbados, and Jamaica. And in terms of Jamaica Poetry Festival 2021, and both Poetry in Motion 2021 and 22, we're able to present performers from all over the world. We won't name them just now. And so we are able to make the adjustment, and thanks to our sponsors, some of which are the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, Jamaica Tourist Board, Tourism Enhancement Fund, Jamaica National Bank, Jamaica Public Service Company Limited, Soundchat Radio, IRA FM, Jamaica RGR Gleaner Communication Group, Jamaica TV Radio, VW Investment Cambio, and many others. We have been able to have viable staging, 4 in total throughout the pandemic period. And we're happy to be able to finally return to some semblance of physical performance, albeit we might retain a level of hybrid so that we can capture that virtual audience, which we're able to garner and generate during those 2 years, and which we want to maintain so that we can expand our audience and expand our offering, and still to present an eclectic mix of what we are presenting. And so, in reflecting on the theme in particular, and what Jerome said, you know, looking at the past, present, and future, we really realize that the moment is now. The past, present, and future pivots on now. The history determines where we are, and where we are determines where we are going. And so the moment is now. And especially we're at the crossroads of time in the fourth industrial revolution. We have to harness the very best of our ancient traditions, the very best of technology. We have to operate from an informed position. Hence, we promote the concept of not entertainment, but edutainment. Because what we are doing with the creative cultural industry, really to what I would say, heal our people, especially within the context of Mama Africa and our diaspora and the transatlantic triangle of genocide and death. We have to reverse the neurolinguistic sorcery with neurolinguistic healing that speaks to our human spirituality, our social and cultural and psychological and emotional. And so we are thinking that this healing should speak to social centrality and psychic centrality, because we are part of a shared history, a shared existence, and a shared future. So we have to find a way to speak to social justice and level the proverbial playing field and access each other based on what we share in common, which is far more than what our difference is. And so we want to present unity in diversity. So we want to expand and present plurality, centering around our singularity as people who are inhabitants of a shared planet, a shared history, a shared existence, and a shared future. And so this is our approach to our events, and this is our approach to what we do, namely edutainment. And so we think that especially now when it gives us pause to reflect, and incidentally, I would think that we have missed an opportunity, both at different levels of leadership, from the political and from the entertainment industry, the cultural, creative industry. We should have used this opportunity to further inform ourselves, to develop a consensus-based and community consultation, so that we can develop a consensus around which we can galvanize and which can inspire greater unity, looking at methodologies, looking at successful models, looking at what we have done well, what we could have done better, looking at what we could do to effect the different changes and to inform and inspire ourselves that we can meet the challenge of this 21st century, when it is important equally to unlearn as to learn and to upload and download information that is relevant and that is helpful in terms of charting and navigating the turbulent times when we are living in wars and rumors of wars. And so music, as Bob Marley said, going to teach them a lesson. And so by expansion, when we create this eclectic cocktail mix in the creative industry with sights and sounds, with music and comedy and art and poetry and literature and dance and film and photography, and the rest continues, the same approach should be taken in terms of how we harness different plurality, both within our nations and within our region and within the global community, to meet our challenges, to affect and effect social justice and social changes and social responsibility, so that we can use the talents at our disposal to empower and uplift our people and to make the shared space a better place. And so while we reflect some of the challenges in our artistic expressions, we should do it in such a way that it alleviates these challenges rather than further compounding them. And so we're happy that we were able to persist with both Jamaica Poetry Festival and Poetry in Motion. And we are currently now a part of a project called Creative Collaborations Online, which involves Scotland, Wales, England, and Ireland, and Jamaica, and which is being piloted by Learning Links International, of which I am a member. And so that has already started in January, and in which case both Poetry in Motion and Jamaica Poetry Festival have been used as models to see best practice, to give access to what we do and to gain access to what other people do. And so you can hear more about that over the coming months, because it's a project that started in January and that closes in December. And so I'm going to share a piece before I exit, but that piece again is the very epitome of some of the things we have been saying. Because with the Christian Soldiers, which included Garnet Silk and others in the 90s, we attempted to immerse the cultural space into information that would help us to be better people, to be more responsible, to empower our people, to bring social awareness, and to present information so that we can operate from an informed position, and so that we can get information to bring the psychic centrality and the consensus which we need to singularize our plurality and to have unity in our diversity. And so this poem was called National Pot, and it was recorded at Big Ship. Actually, Freddie McGregor changed the name and called it Put It In for evident reasons when you hear the piece that I've done. And so this speaks to us coming together, putting into the national pot, be of whatever ilk, what we have, what we are talented, what we are blessed with, and so to take out of that pot, because reciprocity is operative here. The input has a relationship with the output, and so this is the idea that informed and inspired Put It In. Evidently, based on the society we are, people somehow misconstrue, maybe with a laugh, the essence and the meaning of national pot, and more focus on the title, the official title of Put It In, and give it their own interpretation. But it is still a part of the process and makes it edutaining while it informs and inspires. And so this is called Put It In. Now this is the original all-in-one. Yasus, Afari, and International Stars in combination. Take the cover off a part and just put it in, make we put it in, put it in, make we put it in. Take the cover off a part and just Put it in. Me must put it in. Come make a cook a pot. That is a national pot. And every single GA can them have in the amount of that. Time to start work and stop the big chat for the fire. Heat a blaze and the pot well hot. Check ISOS round a house of Anna. Remember Garnet as we gather some facts. Check big ship just for put it power wax. And when the battle and people love it to the max. Put it in. Me must put it in. Put it in. He must have go in. Put it in. Dash in Ghani. Put it in. Coco Ghani. Put it in. Me must put it in. Put it in. He must have go in. Put it in. Green corn Ghani. Put it in. Plantain Ghani. Push the food to the bottom of the pot. Use a golden spoon and stir up that. Make it see my arm up, put the lid on top. Can the hungry belly have in your mouth of that? And then my kind of food make cherry get fat. The shop me food in a make a bash. Use 3 lime and we make some wash. Deal with the matter and then me relax. Put it in. Me must put it in. Put it in. It must have to go in. Put it in. Dash in Ghani. Put it in. Coco Ghani. Put it in. Me must put it in. Put it in. It must have to go in. Put it in. Green corn Ghani. Put it in. Plantain Ghani. So me cook a pot to me heart desire. The menu that me soul require. Now you say, Mrs. String, who so love me cooking, nothing to she but fi ride the rhythm. So she said, do. Now make the fire doing I sauce push, would I make the fire king? So she said, do. Now make the fire doing I sauce push, would I make the fire king? Put it in, me must put it in. Put it in, it must have to go in. Put it in, dash in Ghani. Put it in, Coco Ghani. Put it in, me must put it in. Put it in, it must have to go in. Put it in, green corn gone in. Put it in, plantain gone, cocoa gone, dasheen gone, poetry gone, music gone, literature gone, everything gone, 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 gone. So let's put it in for you. It's my pleasure. Full grats again. Respect to all the presenters. Past, present, and future. Let us build a consensus. Let us make the connections as we travel around the world, as we make these connections virtually and physically, and let us come together in the interest of our shared planet Earth, our shared humanity, to level the proverbial playing field, that we can create a space in which we can share in social justice and love and unity and harmony and prosperity. And we say honor, love, and prosperity. Rastafari bless it and set it itinerary.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, yes, I like the title of the poem. You know, I was kind of I have never heard a poem before, so I was like, okay, let's hear what this is about. So I appreciate it wholeheartedly. And of course, you can tell by audience response how much they are appreciating it as well. We are going to take a brief break and we'll be right back. And as well, do not go very far, Yasus, because we have a few persons who have questions for you as well. So
no problem. Before you go to Dr. Rose, which of the titles you like? The official one, national part, or put it in?
Put it in, of course.
I suspected.
Yeah.
I'm suspected, and I'm happy. It must have to go in. You know how the thing go. When you want to farm, you have to dig a hole in the field and put the seeds in. You are going into your car, you have to put the key inside the keyhole. If you are going into the house, you have to, use a key. If you put it on the clothes, if you're taking off the pot off the cover, you have to put in the food in the pot and cover it, make it simmer and bubble. So anywhere you go, it's input, output, reciprocity. What you sow is what you reap.
Yes, put it in.
Most
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wade in the water. Wade in the water.
So to all you singing groups out there, get your voice training on, polish your vocal cords, and hop on Wade in the Water. Have you heard about Campaign Africa's Wade in the Water Challenge? As a build-up to Africa Month, which is the month of May, Campaign Africa, in collaboration with the elevators, creative concepts, and as Africa Global Radio's media partners, has launched the Wade in Water campaign. This is a virtual campaign that is basically calling on music groups or voices in Africa to raise their voices, to raise our voices in solidarity, and in the hopes of becoming a part of an All Africa choir that will launch Africa Month in May. Now, here's how to participate. First and foremost, you have to create a video of your music group singing your favorite song or the song you can best perform. Okay? Then you upload the song to either Instagram or TikTok. And while you're doing the upload, you have to follow the social media handles of Campaign Africa and Africa Global Radio so that you can tag us in your video when you do the upload. So follow Campaign Africa's social media handles and Africa Global Radio's social media handles as well. And then tag us on either Instagram or TikTok using the hashtags Africa Unity, African Month, We the Wade Edition, Africa Global Radio, and hashtag Campaign Africa. So just put the videos up, follow and tag our social media handles, and then use the hashtags that I just mentioned. So, to all the groups that are listening to me right now on the continent and in the African diaspora, get your voice training on, polish your vocal cords, and join in the Wade in the Water.
Deliverance in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. My God is gonna trouble. Gonna trouble.
Thank you guys so much. Yes, we heard from Wade in the Water, a competition that was being highlighted. One of my industry professionals who work hand in hand with myself from out of Ghana as well. So we're going to move right into our next speaker. And boy, does he have an history. It's interesting history, I should say. Bosco and Kanze is the president of the Rastafari Council Ghana, chairman of the Rastafari Continental Council, overseer of the 12 Tribes of Israel Ghana chapter, and outgoing secretary to the board of directors of the Black Star Line Cooperative Credit Union. He is a creative practitioner and have been involved in the creative space since 1984, initially as a disc jockey. As an entertainment journalist, he has contributed to newspapers like the Ghanaian Chronicle and Weekend Chronicle, Ghana Life, The Horizon, and Weekend Herald, amongst others. Subsequently, he has worked with Groove FM as a presenter and news editor, program director, and Multimedia Group Limited, Adam FM and It's FM. He's currently director of communications and special projects with the Musician Union of Ghana, performing works as a general manager with Ahotor 92.3 FM. His body of works afford him the responsibility as a people-centered leader who thrives in building and leading award-winning teams. He's been involved in training and supervising teams in programming and marketing, grooming superstars, whilst building veritable brands and growing businesses. For over a decade, Daddy Bosco led the programming team at Adam FM, culminating a number of awards for the station programs, presenters, and himself as program manager of the year for music and entertainment for Joy FM and It's FM. He has been involved in the creative sector as a musician, events organizer, events writer, radio personality, and a radio executive. He is the chairman of the board of the Bass Awards, the Reggae Dancehall Awards, and hosts a Sunday morning reggae show on Breeze 90.9, dubbed Rocking Time, which also hears on Breeze FM Ghana. This is against the backdrop of years of experience as an administrator of a number of cooperatives. He plans to take into academia and also produce training manuals and textbooks on programming, marketing, and management from the continental perspective. His intention is to make a meaningful impact on the continent's academic, creative, and corporate landscapes. A passionate believer in Africa's future through leveraging technology and particularly the benefits of social media for continental development. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you on stage and give to you none other than Daddy Bosco. Just give me a few minutes, as it is that he will be joining us. Just currently I'm not sure if the system kicked him off, but he will be on momentarily. And one of the reasons why it is that I read his bio so extensively, because of the numerous avenues that he's involved in the entertainment space as it pertains to radio as well. Okay, we're going to go to one of our commercials, and we'll be right back as I bring on stage Daddy Bosco.
So to all you singing groups out there, get your voice training on, polish your vocal cords, and hop on Wade in the Water. Have you heard about Campaign Africa's Wade in the Water Challenge? As a build-up to Africa Month, which is the month of May, Campaign Africa, in collaboration with the Elevators Creative Concepts and as Africa Global Radio's media partners, has launched the Wade in Water campaign. This is a virtual campaign that is basically calling on music groups or voices in Africa to raise their voices, to raise our voices in solidarity, and in the hopes of becoming a part of an All Africa choir that will launch Africa Month in May. Now, here's how to participate. First and foremost, you have to create a video of your music group singing your favorite song or the song you can best perform. Okay? Then you upload the song to either Instagram or TikTok. And while you're doing the upload, you have to follow the social media handles of Campaign Africa and Africa Global Radio so that you can tag us in your video when you do the upload. So follow Campaign Africa's social media handles and Africa Global Radio's social media handles as well. And then tag us on either Instagram or TikTok using the hashtags Africa Unity, African Month, We the Wade Edition, Africa Global Radio, and hashtag Campaign Africa. So just put the videos up, follow and tag our social media handles, and then use the hashtags that I just mentioned. So, to all the groups that are listening to me right now on the continent and in the African diaspora, get your voice training on, polish your vocal cords, and join in the Wade in the Water.
Deliverance in the water gonna trouble the water. My God is gonna trouble, gonna trouble.
Jams Radio. Check me out every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I do the Top 10 Reggae Count-Off. Tell a friend to tell a friend for the best in music, unbiased music. It's all about fun. It's all about infotainment. Full enjoyment. Cool Jams Radio every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, you could check us out at www.facebook.com/Cool Jams Radio 103 24/7 4814. Cool Jams Radio.
All Chris do is just play, play, play. Good music for the people. Enough respect. Cool Jams Radio, of course. Chris Rich, you know. Play on, play on.
Hey, I should pack. Think I should pack. Hello.
Hi, Daddy Bosco. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good. I'm okay.
Yes, I see you're traveling.
So how soon will I be on?
You are on right now. You're currently live.
Okay, so can I go now?
Yes, go right ahead.
All right, so good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Thank you very much to International Stars, Dr. Empress Rose, for this opportunity to interact with the global audience one more time. In Ghana, for instance, what we're doing is we're looking at strengthening the cultural and creative arts for socio-economic development. However, let me just touch a bit about what's been happening pre-pandemic and as we're speaking now in these pandemic times. Um, just before the pandemic, the government of Ghana announced what was termed the year of the return. And the year of the return sought to showcase Ghana as the go-to place in terms of realigning with that African centered vibe. So in 2019, there was an influx of celebrities from around the world, from the United Kingdom, from the United States, from the Latin diaspora. And it was an exciting experience. And we felt like we were positioned for a takeoff. Unfortunately, the following year, the pandemic set in and it put things back. In terms of state planning, the government had earmarked the following 10 years after 2019 as beyond the return, and that was to be a decade where government would put in place initiatives to encourage brothers and sisters from the diaspora to return to Ghana to invest and to live. However, like I said, the pandemic threw some spanners in the wheel, so it slowed down that whole vibe. Now, in 2019, festivals like Coachella birthed in Ghana. Afrima Awards was also in Ghana and was slated to go on for the next 5 years from 2019 to 2024. However, the pandemic stopped all that. The interesting thing about that period was that artists and creatives started using the virtual space to showcase their works. So there were various concerts and exhibitions that were online. I clearly remember a tribute we did to the former president, Jerome Rawlings, in February, where we brought various artists together. It was live on television and online on various social media platforms. So that was something that a lot of artists did, doing virtual concerts to keep their fan base alive and also to earn some revenue. For us in the Culture Forum in 2020, what we did was we had a virtual event. And this year, for the first time in 2 years, we had a physical event. So as we're speaking now, with the general, should I say, slowdown in terms of COVID-19, and also the joke that the war in Ukraine has killed COVID. So activities are bouncing back to normalcy. This year we celebrated Ghana Culture Day. It was a physical event, although we broadcast on social media channels. This year's debate was in twofold, or this year's event was in twofold. We had a debate targeting senior high school students, and then we had a colloquium which looked at industry practitioners. And it was all done under the theme strengthening the cultural and creative industries for socio-economic development. Some of the exciting things the fact that just last week, the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture launched the or inaugurated the board of directors for the Museums and Monuments Board. And he said some very interesting things. For instance, he said that this year the target for Ghana is getting at least 2.3 billion US dollars from tourism, and in the process creating over 150,000 jobs out of tourism and cultural related activities. Now, it's a given that tourism, especially in Ghana, thrives on the cultural and creative industries. For instance, most people who come to Ghana come to enjoy our cultural heritage, which is the festivals, the dances, the traditions, and then see some of the tangible cultural things we have, like the slave dungeons. And somebody will tell you that of all the forts and castles outside. Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello, hello, hello.
It seems my line dropped.
It's okay. We are here. You can continue.
Okay, thank you very much. So, like I was saying, one of the things, or one of the highlights for this year's Ghana Culture Day was a discussion on how cultural and creative industry practitioners could leverage what you call it, social media. So we had an interaction with a young man called Kwabena Nkrumah, aka Spike, and Spike took the participants through the various ways in which they could reach global audiences. So you could be having your exhibition in your gallery in Ghana, and then you could showcase it on the social media platforms that are available to you. One of the exciting things that the Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Honorable Marco Krekumante, spoke about was um, an initiative to get people to undertake tours of the various slave dungeons using the metaverse. And that would be like a teaser to excite them to actually undertake that physical tour. So, by and large, as we're speaking right now, there's so much interest in how creatives can utilize social media to reach global audiences. And as we're speaking, let me talk about Sak Odie, one of our leading artists. And Sak had a concert, I think, just last week in Dubai, and it was streamed live on various.
Already spoke, and they can tap in with the questions. Let's start with one of our questions for here we go. So Althea, you and for everyone else who doesn't have to be, we have Yasus. We're going to add him to the stream. We have Bosco that's still trying to connect. See, we have Carrie. Althea, I will add you. You do not have to be on camera. Just answer the questions, please. Okay. While we're in wait for Bosco, I'm going to start with one of our questions for Althea that was put into the chat. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, so for Althea, one of our audience members, this is coming from Chris Rich, you wanted to know if consultations are virtual.
No, we do it through via phone conversation, but we can make that available through WhatsApp, if that's possible. Yes, we can do that. Sorry about that.
No worries. So we have one of our audience members, Ron, who wanted to get an overview in terms of what the business does or the product. If you could just give a brief overview of the product itself.
All right. The products are 100% natural herbs. And what it basically does, it reduces bleeding in the gum tissue 90%. That's what it's basically for. It does not repair the teeth. We've not advanced in technology as yet with that, but definitely for the gum. If you have good gums, you have good teeth, and your teeth will be in your mouth. It's, that's what helps to anchor your teeth within your mouth. So basically what it does, it reduces bleeding in the gums 90%. Within 3 days, you will see you will see results. In fact, what we ask clients to do before you use the product is to take a picture of your gums. And after 3 days, take another picture and you will see the comparison. And you'll see the difference. The longer you use the product, you will see the results. We try to get people to not use toothpaste, to be honest, because of the fluoride that's within the tooth and all the other chemicals. Tricolson, other harmful products, harmful chemicals that's in your toothpaste, sand. In fact, people who whiten their teeth with the conventional toothpaste, they have sand in it. So you're actually sawing your teeth. We have charcoal in our product that helps to whiten the teeth. That's one of the ingredients in it: charcoal, turmeric, golden seal, myrrh, echinacea, and more. So all our products are raw herbs. It's just grinded down into powder, a powder form that it could be used.
Thank you. Carrie, are you there? The next question is for Carrie Mullings. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for delivering as well. So to all our viewers who are currently tuning in, there are connection issues, of course, to this that has been happening since the beginning. And in the virtual world, that happens from time to time. So please bear with us. For Jerome, or for the questions for Jerome, you can forward them through the chat and I will collect all the questions and I will send to him as well. So for Carrie, we had someone in the US, Chris Rich, who would like to know, are there sponsorships and grants available in your territory to assist music entertainers and promoters to move forward with their career?
Oh, yes, yes. Canada has a lot of grants, federal, provincial, municipal levels, sponsorships, uh, current collaborations with major banks like TD Bank, Scotia Bank, the CIBC Bank. The best one, I shouldn't say the best one, but the one that is very accessible to performing artists comes through Factor. And Factor, you check out factor.ca, and there's a lot of collaborative work that can be done between Canada and other countries when it comes to rebuilding the CCI at the moment. There's a lot of need for it too. So as we are opening up and moving forward, those were the positions that even myself took in business. More partnerships, more collaborative works. That's needed at this time. You can check out the Canadian government's website. There's information there. There's also information that I'll be more than happy to provide everyone. Feel free to contact me, and I can send you a link that will give you access and information to these grants. Majority of them are for Canadian businesses, non-for-profit agencies, collective creatives. They can extend between Canada's market and, of course, the international market, depending on the project. So definitely, Chris Rich, feel free to send an email, Carrie at totc.ca, and I'd love to give you more information. And for all creatives out there wanting to expand into the area of being funded to continue on, then these are good routes to take. There's so many, though. To list them all off, that's a couple hours of presentation, but I could provide a list and a direction in where to go. And that's majority of artists are accessing those at the moment just to relaunch their careers.
While we have you on stage, Carrie, just would
Mhm.
like to go through a few more questions here. We have from Beverly out of the UK who would like to know, is reggae music your only genre that you are thrusting to the limelight? Is reggae music the only music that you do? Or do you dabble
No,
in genre?
no, it's a great question. And I know it's not the only in production. I work in various genre areas. Also, moving into the new sound that is now very, very apparent. We're moving in Afrobeats direction. So, new productions, collaborating artists from Jamaica, Africa, Canada together, and also R&B, a little bit of soul, and have a wonderful artist that currently is making a lot of waves who is multi genre here in Canada, and he is from Africa, from Ghana, Slim Flex. So he's a great artist working in reggae, working in Afrobeats, and he actually assisted in opening that door to the Afrobeat market and two members of Africa, along with Diet Monkey. And that was really good for our connection here in Canada to have more artists from Africa accessing opportunities here, and of course building more platforms for African artists such as Afrofest has been really great for our economy. And I must mention that we're all excited here for the return of Afrofest in person, which will be happening the second weekend of July.
We have Kelly out of South Africa that would like to know, um, do you host a regular festival every year?
Um, Quite a few, to be honest. That was a personal hit when COVID began, because many festivals weren't operating, and annually the majority of stages that I hosted on were reggae festivals in various places. The Calgary Reggae Festival, Taste of the Caribbean, and those are just mentioning a couple, but Canada's very vibrant province to province as far as festival activities. So yes, I hosted quite a bit, and then the pandemic hit, hence us moving forward with TOTC, Taste of the Caribbean, and delivering a virtual web series to fill in that gap there and still present reggae music in the way we love to.
Carlene from out of Gambia, thanks for that response. Carlene out of Gambia would like to know what will change in your industry moving forward as it pertains to live events. Will you accommodate virtual events as well?
I think now, and a great question again, I really think we're at a pivotal point where we can do both. I believe we can do both as we're delivering to an audience from anywhere in Canada. We also now understand we have the ability to deliver virtually. So I think to maximize our audience, we would need to do both. And that's a part of the reset, is being, as you would say, Dr. Rose, multitasking in
Yeah.
in our endeavors, because it really makes sense at this point to send the messages out virtually to other people around the world. And yes, it will take time for the revenue to build from delivering that way, but it will also bring another understanding to the connectivity that's required to continue growing our creative landscape right across the world.
Awesome, awesome. I'm going to jump to another question and this time it's to Daddy Bosco. And I will come back to you, Carrie. We have about 3 more questions for you, okay?
Okay.
Daddy Bosco, are you there? No.
Dr. Rose, if I may.
Yes, please.
I would like to leave a contact number, which is 725-266-0022. That would be the contact number for Exodus Gunpowder. Also, exodusgunpowder@gmail.com. That's another contact. So again, let me repeat the number, 725-266-0022. exodusgunpowder@gmail.com.
Thank you. So we do have a question for you, Alfie, before you leave as well. We have Rich out of the UK who would like to know I think her call just dropped. Carrie? Okay, love.
Yes.
We'll get you to finish these questions and we'll wrap up. Okay. We have Kimberly out of the US. Kimberly out of the US, who would like to know if she wanted to get involved with festivals within Canada. Do you actually book? Are you booking for outside artists outside of Canada? Can she, contact, or can you refer a booking agency that she can work with in Canada? She's a reggae artist in California.
Yes, Kimberly, that's great one too, because everybody wants to get back to performing now. Yes, we do book artists. I have been booking artists officially as an agency. However, no. CB Talent is an agency that you can work through when it comes to booking in Canada, festivals right across Canada. I am also a resource and have had the pleasure of booking many artists from outside of Canada here in Canada. So I would be more than happy to help Kimberly. And the doors are open for artists all over the world to come in now and experience what Canada has to offer and hear your sound. That's the great part. The technology that we are working with now allows us to be able to help you not only perform on a stage with people live, but to have your friends and family abroad joining that celebration also.
Okay, sorry about that. And we have one last question for you, Carrie. This question is from Rev out of Jamaica. And he would like to know, hold on, waiting for the question to come up. Oh, I think that you have answered part of the question already, because he wanted to know, outside of reggae, do you welcome other genres to your space in terms of the festivals as well?
Yes, we do. Our collaborative work on Stages Canada, we welcome all genres. Stages Canada works in collaboration and partnership with Taste of the Caribbean for reggae specifically, and a few other genres that have been booked at the festival. We've been able to assist with facilitating new talent. However, our Stages Canada platform that's specific in partnership with Taste of the Caribbean are for reggae artists. And then outside of that, you can definitely link up regardless of what genre. We've had Afro beats, we've had R&B soul, and from 2015 to 17, it didn't really matter which genre you performed. We were more pleased on representing the messages that you have to deliver, not only live musicianship, but also lyrical content. So I would say focus everyone on what your message is now that you're wanting to make moves and wanting to travel, because there's many promoters, especially here in Canada, that are looking for specific talent. When I say specific talent, I mean strong messages, positive, conscious vibrations. There is less of a need for artists on festival stages that only work with tracks. You must be an artist that performs with live musicians. That's really the key to many festival stages in Canada. But if you would like to and want to have any form of assistance in getting booked here in Canada, feel free, Carrie at totc.ca, and all of this information can also be shared with the talent agency associated with Taste of the Caribbean.
Thank you so much, Carrie, for coming through today and working with our audience as well. And thanks for answering the questions as much as possible. We're going to wrap up with one more question for Althea. This question is coming from a grantor. Who would like to know, are you looking for investments within the product that you provide?
Yes. Just contact me with that information. 725-266-0022 Pacific Standard Time, probably around 10 to about 6 p.m.
Is that every day?
Yes.
Or
no,
okay.
No. Mm-hmm. Sunday through Friday.
Nice. Do we have a question here? Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Althea, and thank you, Carrie. I'm going to jump into closing. my closing statement in terms of the cultural creative industry, in terms of you guys just being here today and lending your voices as well. And just to give you a synopsis of my involvement within the industry, firstly, I would just like to say thanks to all the speakers who were able to come through the BDG 2022 Voice Virtual Conference Series. I really appreciate it. As you know, we have various speakers from across the world as well, in various countries, between South Africa, Kenya, Reunion Island, Ghana, Namibia, the USA, Jamaica, and of course, we just heard from Carrie from Canada. And so within those weeks as well, we also had an opportunity where 3 of our moderators actually graced the stage as well. And Smiley, who has Smiley Girl, you can check her out as well across the social media platforms at Smiley Girl Entertainment. We were also blessed with having Royal Cleopatra, who came through with her knowledge and expertise as moderator. Please look out for her across the social media platforms, Royal Cleopatra. And as well, we had Simona Georgieva, okay? And she's a journalist and work with TikTok. She was able to come in and lend to us her expertise as well. Now, more importantly, the topic of the cultural creative industry, as a creator myself, we wanted to speak on why exactly, as to share in our report how the industry has changed over a period of time. And what I put together in terms of the BDG series was because every year I am invited to Africa, and usually I do 4 countries per year, where it is that we talk about the cultural creative industry, not just to talk, but as well to create professional lineage amongst the different industries that are within the cultural creative industry, to see how we could bond one-on-one and be able to create a relationship across the aisle. Last year, I was invited to 10 countries. And of course, I usually travel around November. And within that space, here comes Omicron. And 6 of the African countries were not eligible for travel, by documentation of the US. So I was unable to travel for the conferences. And so I'm looking forward to this year that there will be no new viruses or pandemics or anything, as I am being requested in an additional country and is scheduled to be in 11 countries in Africa, again, where it is that I'm looking forward to this opportunity. Just to speak with you a little bit about the creative industry and what some of the folks who has reached out to me has been able to provide, some of the concerns that they are carrying for weeks and months as it regards to the industry. As we all know, the creative industry is a precondition for the development of modern economy and is a dimension that ignites aggregate economic growth, development, and it also drives tourism competitiveness amongst the countries. A huge part of my job is travel and tourism. And more importantly, for the past 2 years, COVID-19 and the national lockdowns has had a dramatic effect on my industry and for others who are employed within the CCI. The hit to the cultural creative industries came in particular hard, with a total of over 10 million jobs that were lost in these sectors. Actually getting these numbers from one of our UNESCO reports. The job losses catalyze a drive to a larger digital world that had already been happening before 2020. As the report indicates, many artists and cultural professionals seized the opportunity of rise in niche streaming services to develop innovative projects in the digital sphere. This had impact not only on individuals, but also in the wider economy, wiping 750 billion of the value of the global cultural and creative industries. That's how huge we are. We are, however, it is that we do pay the price as we talk about the pandemic across the aisle. A time when digital revenues failed to make up the decline in live events caused by the pandemic. For instance, in the music sector, where live shows are a key part of the artist's income, the dominance of digital meant the division of revenues amongst creators, producers, and distributors, a feat that remains highly unequal. And I must tell you, I belong to all of those industries, creators, producers, and distributors, and I have felt the shift. Creativity is at an all-time high. People, people's global access and reliance on cultural content has tremendously decreased. But the stricken economy and operating with limited finance is also very difficult. As UNESCO's Assistant Director General for Culture, Ernesto Otone echoes, we need to rethink how we build a sustainable and inclusive working environment for cultural and artistic professionals who play a vital role for society and the world at large. There needs to be better support for the creative industries. According to UNESCO, the cultural and creative sectors account for 3.1% of the world's GDP and 6.2% of all employment, making our CCI sector a strategic investment for economic development. Government spending on culture has been declining for decades, and of course, the pandemic made it even worse. There is now a need for targeted investment strategies, calling in particular for support of community media to foster a diverse range of content. Collectively, we need the support of new creative projects to alleviate isolation amongst those who are out of work. More work opportunities need to be created. And as I look at my industry, I strongly recommend that we go back to the days where there was bartering because it as well will help to uplift our CCI industries. More work opportunities needs to be created. It is of great importance for the diversity of cultural expressions to thrive. Culture, creativity, and education must operate hand in hand. More importantly, adapting to the digital environment is still a challenge for the cultural and creative sectors, both at home and abroad. Yes, for the past 2 years, COVID has also stricken, again, my travel to various countries, a major part of the CCI economy as well. Back in 2019, the Travel and Tourism Competitiveness, that is the TTCI, overall ranking report shows that among the top 5 countries with the highest competitive in tourism, 3 of those countries were from the European Union. Unless you are living under a rock, we are currently seeing the effects that the pandemic has created across the aisle, across the world, and not just in one particular area. Aside from business and personal reasons, cultural and natural heritage arguably constitute the main reasons to visit a country. Some countries have a richer endowment than others, but some are also better than others at promoting and protecting their well being. Be as it may, natural and cultural resources are 2 indicators for assessing the cultural trend, and that highlights tourism as an important segment of our creative industry. It is my belief that it's also a relevant tool to highlight the need for further improvements and as well as an informative indicator to tap into unused opportunities of the creative area as it will lead to major boost in tourism and overall creative development in the future. Today's TTCI reports prioritization of tourism and travel, and I quote, the sector is of primary concern. The government can channel funds to essential development projects and coordinate resources necessary to develop the sector, signaling the stability of government policy can affect the sector's ability to attract further private investment. The government can also play an important role in directly attracting tourists through national marketing campaigns, This pillar includes measures of government, primarily assessing the completeness and timeliness of providing accurate traveler and tourism data to international organizations, as this indicates the importance a country assigns to the travel and tourism sector. It is my belief that within the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be quite interesting visualizing the growing connection between tourism and the creative industry, and the way in which we operate and the way in which we communicate. Why? Because tourism is its creativity is the main driver of attractiveness and competitiveness of tourist countries and designations globally. I say that to say this. It has been very hard to thrive throughout the pandemic. The CCI, cultural and creative industries, such as arts and crafts, entertainment, media, have become a vital force in accelerating human development. As the pandemic surfaced on a global spectrum, it has highlighted persons from all social classes, partly the indigenous to the elite, as participants and consumers of the economy. Take, for instance, my job in sports, music, and entertainment, a vital force to the creative industries. It was without a doubt that the CCI is a strategic relevant sector. It enables opportunities such as boosting competitiveness, productivity, sustainable growth, and ultimately work opportunities. Why? Because it empowers people to take ownership of their own development. Being able to stimulate innovation is just a mere factor and is a potential drive to inclusive, sustainable growth. Yet, the results of the recent pandemic left the CCI in shambles, with many searching for answers, hungry not only for work, but also for food and shelter. Homelessness, depression, anxiety, emotional, and financial stresses are at an all time high. We all went through a grim period where we hoped for reduction in the efficacy of the newly developed COVID-19 vaccine and a period of newly developed variants. Countless conditions that are contributing factors to various issues. More importantly, one of our speakers that we had for our CCI was to speak on mental health and addiction. The work to fostering mental health or addiction well-being is a long road ahead for many individuals. I think it's of great importance to be a friend and to reach out just to your fellow friends and for today. How are persons just find out how are persons coping with the normal stresses of life? That state of the well-being in which every person recognizes his or her own potential. As the members of the CCI industries, we are most often left and more questions than answers. Can you as an individual work productively and fruitfully and be able to make a contribution to your own community? Understanding that there are possibilities and impossibilities, being autonomous to have a social identity and to give meaning and purpose of our own lives is first and foremost. Unfortunately, many people are influenced by the negative stigma and preconceptions associated with mental health. Just take a look at social media. There are so many examples. Notably, working in sports, music, and entertainment, I have witnessed all operatives of my CCI industry. For some, it's a great idea to log off. For some, it's a death trap. I know of persons that have closed out their social media pages because of the pandemic. I myself have taken it in strides, in a world where in a world where mental illnesses are commonly subjected to negative stigma, it makes perfect sense to take necessary measures to maintain one's sanity. So I say to you, our listening audience, do not be scared to log off. Do not be scared to step away from bullies that will enter your space on social media. We have witnessed within the past year a year of unfortunates. Some may say they're not surprises, right? We have witnessed racism, social media views that sometimes leads to discrimination, wrongful deaths, which may be the cause of why those suffering from mental disorders are so poorly cared for or don't even seek treatment. The bullying, uncensored of comments. Using my voice to empower others to create positive change is what it's all about. And I have been glad that there are various persons that have reached out to myself just to inquire how it is that I can be a resource to them. This is one of the reasons why we are here today. It is of great importance as well that we maintain that positive change. The lessons I've learned along the way as well. As women, we have come very far, but we still have a very long way to go. The focus point of equality for women needs to be highlighted because as women, a greater percentage of women tend to tear each other down rather than to build each other together. So you may ask, what has worked for me? Over the years, I have made it my mission to stay in my own lane and distance myself from the aesthetically driven fake environment. Of course, not always 100% aware, but takes a bit of work to understand the purpose of the persons you have placed in your space at each and every time. My processes have allowed me to becoming more proactive of the things that matters, to separate myself from and everything that may have caused me to feel pressured and look a certain way as I work to make my world a more wholesome and inclusive industry. Time and patience have allowed me to embrace everyone, no matter their gender, size, age, or ethnicity. Sadly, not everyone is able to similarly accommodate the steps that welcome to staying afloat. There's a saying, you can't see the picture if you are in the frame. So, how does one provide social support in a time when you yourself may be vying for support? It becomes tricky. A tangible steps toward progress, and one that most often, involve a mix of emotions. Studies have shown that the cultural creative industries have become an increasingly contributor to the GDP, the gross domestic product. Data also shown that for the past 15 years, it is the fastest growing sector of the world economy, but also transformative in generating income, jobs, and exports. Sadly, there aren't enough distributed results across the globe. Asia and the Pacific, Europe and North America are seeing rapid and unprecedented growth in the creative economy. These regions account for 93% of the global CCI revenue and 85% of jobs. It is by contrast that Africa, that I visit for the past 7 years, whilst being able to visit Africa and be able to connect on more than one level, and the CCI industry, the Middle East and Latin America as well, and the Caribbean have not yet capitalized on their potential. Why? The CCI cultural and creative industries and being creative goes hand in hand and is what makes up the industry. Cultural and creative activities are usually diverse and multifaceted, but part of growing a dynamic creative economy depends in part on how proactive countries are in grasping opportunities as well. So, I say that to say this, that as we look towards growth, as life progresses, you are guaranteed to face a variety of circumstances with whichever country that you operate business, changing environments and new roles that require you to adapt to them. A personal development plan will always help. These are some things that have helped to alleviate the pressures that come with the continuous changes and challenges. These also help you well equipped to excel in all areas of your life. The journey to self improvement is an ongoing process of constant learning. as it gives the opportunity to evaluate your strengths and your weaknesses and to work on them. As I worked on my own personal development, I was able to assist others in all areas of their life, and my own personal journey became more prioritized. What are the true benefits? The benefits are that you grow as a person while growing your skills. You improve your self awareness and you boost your confidence. Understand personal growth and development is an ongoing process, and self improvement, whether it be your career, in your education, in your personal life, or in all your areas. Your personal development should be your priority. Do not allow social media to dictate your worth. Work on developing your strength. Learn to do things to improve and boost your confidence, and overall, it will help to develop your self awareness. A personal development plan is not always helps to improve your weaknesses, but it can also help you to develop your strengths. By taking time to focus on nurturing and using your strengths more, you go from being good at something to becoming excellent at something else. You can reach your potential and achieve great growth by developing skills you are really good at. Making the decision to improve your skills, take a step closer to feeling more confidence. Once you have achieved a certain goal, gained another skill, or developed a certain area of your life, you naturally feel good about yourself. The more you keep on developing the areas of your life you are not confident in, the more you can boost your confidence. In closing, personal development is closely linked to self awareness. So, for everyone listening, it gives you the opportunity to make an honest look at the areas of your life that needs improvement. Through the process and as a creative, you get to know who you really are and what your true values are. Let's not lose sight of that, because once it is that you have gone through the process of improving self awareness, of course, it is that you will experience complete fulfillment. I thank you guys for being here today. I thank you for giving me the time, taking the time out to have me service you and to be able to share my experience as a creator within the creative space with you all. I look forward to being able to do this again within the future. But we're also hoping that the doors open back up and that we are not enclosed in an enclosed space where we have to do things virtually. I thank each and every speaker that has been able to be part of the BDG virtual conference for 2022. And I am happy to have serviced all the individuals who requested that I be a part, that I create something that they will be able to share within their talents and what they do as a CCI member. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all. Have yourselves a blessed rest of day.